Right before I start this painting video, I would just like to say I just got this thing from Goodwill. I have no clue what it's actually supposed to be, but it was $3.53, and I'm using it to hold my paintbrushes. So my clean brushes will be on one side, and then my dirty and used brushes will be on another side. And I think this is gonna be perfect because it's got enough weight and the baskets are tall and thin enough to where I could actually do things without my paintbrushes falling out of the cup or knocking the whole cup over. Because that was a big problem. It was like whenever I tried to use a cup or something that was kind of tall enough, it would just knock it over. So I use this for trash now. But yeah, so I'm really excited about this. And I used it for a different painting the other day and it works great. And there's Jericho. In this video, I'm painting my submission for Trekell's 2022 4th Annual Pet Portrait Contest. It's a little too late by the time this video is up for you to enter because you have to purchase one of their panels to enter. But this is my submission. This is my first time applying for this. The entry is due August 31st. And I will have my submission uploaded before then. I'm going to try to take an actual decent picture with my camera before I submit. But here's my time-lapse, super sped up video of my painting process. I will have the full-length, almost 2-hour-long upload on my channel as well if you're interested in the whole drawn out process where you can see everything that I do with detail. Because I wanted this painting to, I don't know, maybe stand out or just be a little bit more unconventional from how I paint at least, I did not use my typical colors. I utilized a few extra colors, including Winsor orange and magenta. And instead of ultramarine blue, I used Winsor blue green shade. It's a very vibrant blue. It's kind of like Prussian blue. And it's more transparent, but it's also very powerful as far as mixing colors is concerned. But it makes really brilliant purples. So I utilized a different color palette today, slightly different. I still used my other colors that I would typically use with the exception of adding orange, adding magenta, and switching out the blue. But I think that really helped just to fine-tune this palette and make it of a little bit of a more unrealistic color because I hope at the end of the painting it doesn't look too crazy, but if you isolate the colors, you realize that I've painted with a lot of purples and pinks and oranges and mustard yellows. You can see I made like 4 different kind of mustardy yellow colors on my palette, which all came in handy. As well as I utilized some green, which I personally don't like painting with green. And I mixed this green. I didn't use any green from a tube, but I think the way I used it worked out very well for this overall composition. The other thing that I would like to add is typically I paint with rather cheap materials. My paints are pretty decent quality, but my brushes and my surfaces are not really expensive by any means. I usually try to get them discounted at like a Ross. You know, the Ross Overstock clothing store, they have a lot of art supplies. And so I would typically get some bulk canvases there. And for this pet portrait competition, you had to purchase their specific 2022 pet portrait panel. And so I did that for this competition, and it's the company Trekell. And they do like paint brushes and paintings surfaces as well as sell some other, like they sell Gamblin paints on their website. But I will say I've heard a lot of good things about their panels, and I just haven't ever purchased any before because I'm still in the phase that I think that I need to practice more before I splurge on some panels. But this is my first time using a really nice quality panel. It's oil ground, it's primed, and it's just such a smooth painting surface. It was a very incredible feel. It's something I'm not used to. And I think you can achieve that by gessoing your canvases that you purchase, but that's something that takes a lot of time and energy, and I think going forward, maybe purchasing some of these panels might be something I'm interested in, just because it was such a smooth painting experience. It was a little bit of a learning curve just because I'm not used to it, but it's something that I enjoyed. Right off the bat, I thought it was really great. It made laying down colors really easy, and it made laying down colors right next to another color without blending it really easy. So that's something to consider. I did enjoy this painting process, and again, the panel is really good. It is an effect you could probably achieve with gessoing over your canvases a few layers, but I really enjoyed painting on this particular board. It was a Birch panel, if you're interested, and this one, even though it's not a square, its overall dimensions is 8 by 8. This concludes a time lapse of my 2022 Trekell Pet Portrait submission. I just want you to see the texture up close. I really like how this piece turned out overall. Have a great day and happy painting.